Shalom, all praises, glory, and honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakodash, and double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. I'm your brother Makolat from the Great Millstone Jamaica camp. We tell us here to feel the potential, electrical spirit, and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Now I want to start off by reading 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, verse 1. It says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Now, I guess we can go back to the scripture after I finish with this article, which is from politico.eu, and I'm gonna make an AI read for you, man. So the headline is "Get ready for hell. UN chief warns amid Ukraine shock waves." We've been warning of a famine by design for years now. We've been warning of rationing. We've been warning of the MOTB system. We've been warning of a third world war. We've been warning of a invasion of so-called UFOs, which are the chariots of Israel. We've been warning of, or we've been speaking of, the time of the Lord's return, where we'll deliver his elect and set up a righteous kingdom on planet Earth. So let me just play this thing and let the AI read for you, man. Right? So.
Get ready for hell. UN food chief warns amid Ukraine shockwaves. World Food Programme flags famine risk in Africa and the Middle East as Ukraine war hits supplies. The head of the world's biggest food aid agency has a stark warning for European leaders. Pay more now to stave off global hunger or suffer a migration crisis later. Russia's war in Ukraine has sent a shockwave through international food markets, worsening the already dire problem of global hunger by disrupting supply and inflating prices. That risks tipping the poorest, most famine-ravaged regions of the planet into political chaos and creating an unprecedented migration crisis, according to David Beasley, the World Food Programme's executive director. In an interview with Politico, Beasley warned that Europe must donate more funding urgently or it will bear the brunt of the fallout. We're billions short, he said. Failure to provide this year a few extra $1 billion means you're going to have famine, destabilization and mass migration. Beasley's intervention will sharpen minds as EU governments draw up plans to address the food crisis resulting from the war, with a proposal expected as early as Wednesday. Russia and Ukraine are among the world's biggest producers and exporters of grain. The disruption caused by the war has a direct impact on countries that rely on these supplies in the Middle East and Africa. Half of Africa's wheat imports come from Ukraine and Russia, which is also a major fertilizer exporter. As for Ukraine, its exports have ground to a halt and its capacity to keep growing food this year is hanging by a thread. The crunch point will come in the fall, Beasley said, when the full impact of the war's disruption is likely to be felt. If you think we've got hell on earth now, you just get ready, Beasley warned. If we neglect Northern Africa's coming to Europe. If we neglect the Middle East is coming to Europe. The economic conditions facing these parts of the world are now worse than they were in the run-up to the Arab Spring, he said. And it's not just the populations of Middle Eastern and North African countries who will feel the squeeze. The WFP is already feeding millions of people further south in Sahel countries like Niger and Burkina Faso, where problems will worsen if global food prices stay sky high. I've been warning our developed nations for several years now that the Sahel is going to collapse if we're not careful, he said. Beasley is on an urgent fundraising mission to Brussels, where he held talks with 2 EU commissioners on Tuesday. If the food crisis spins out of control and the world faces critical supply shortages, the rich West will not be spared from political unrest. What do you think is going to happen in Paris and Chicago and Brussels when there's not enough food? he said, speaking in the sumptuous surroundings of Belgium's Royal Fine Arts Museum, where the EU held a major humanitarian conference this week. It's easy to sit on your high horse in your ivory tower when you're not the one starving. Untapped trillions. The WFP has an $8 billion shortfall because of what Beasley called the perfect storm of COVID inflation.
Hey, and I don't even have to go any further in the article. I'm going to put it in the description box. But at the end of the day, there's a lot got said here. They were speaking of famine, migration of people, and basically they're saying, you're in your high towers, you speaking of you wealthy, and the ones that are facing hardship, basically they're gonna lose it. And upon losing it, they're gonna loot and shoot for food. And we've been prophesying of these things for years, because these men that are in the higher tops, the 1%ers, they have make it priority to control the world's food supply in feeding the population. And if you control the food supply, basically everybody's supposed to be subjected to you. In the islands here, like in Jamaica, there's a saying, don't bite the hand that feed you, because the hand that feed you, if it cuts off, it's the food or it's feeding, then you're in trouble. Well, you people are in trouble. You people are in trouble. Why? Because and when I say you people, I'm speaking about the Israelites now, right? The so-called Latinos, Native American Indians, and so-called niggers. You're in trouble. Why? Because you refuse to repent, and you trust in the shadow of Egypt. You hate Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. As for us, the hopeful elect, we hope, that by the tender mercies of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, we may be delivered from this hellhole that we see being digged for the world. No, we could care less about the heathen, because we know, look, the heathen, slavery is for the ones that remain, man. But as for us, we know that for the hopeful elect, as I said before, we will wait upon Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So back at 2 Ezra 15 verse 5, it says, behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death and destruction, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their earthful works are fulfilled. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue, no more as touching their wickedness which they profanely committed, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood cried unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Right? And you can clearly see this famine, man. And that's a part of the plague that the Lord is sending, and this is the worst way to die. A lot of people that you see caring for all the things that's not necessary at this very moment, like the latest fashion, the latest music. People actually out here crying about bills, like light bill. There's gonna come a point in time then you won't even be thinking about light bill. It's all about food, because the Lord gonna break that staff of bread, and basically to bring you asses into suffering, for you to know that He is Lord. And the more these things being ramping up, the fame of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is gonna go through the earth, that He's the one that's doing it. That's the reason why we're prophesying, man, to give glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That you people gonna know that, look, it was not your idols that did this. This was the Lord who is doing that. Using the devils, right? No, where was I? Back in 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse, let me start off, 11 says, but, hold on. Starting at verse 12, it says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. And a lot of crops are dying, no fertilizers, whether they can't afford it, farmers can't afford it, or they can't get it, because of the war in Ukraine. And not only that, the fact that the Big C basically helped F up things, all them lockdowns and shit. And this is all by design. Let me say that, man. This is all by design. This is the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, doing his thing, This is the Lord doing his thing, man. And it won't be nice, man. Trust me. Trust me when I say it, brothers, man. I know that brothers, sincere brothers know, but when I say brothers, I'm speaking about you that, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, or you window shopping, or just on the outskirt looking. This thing won't be nice. It's death we're speaking about. We were speaking about millions of suffering, sufferation and thing. The other day someone broke into I think it was a Burger King on Constant Spring Road in Manor Park. And there is a Patty Express place or something like that. And I asked him, why did you do it? And he said, I was hungry. What was I supposed to do? And you see, when Jake becomes hungry, they're going to lose it. Especially when their kids is saying that, Mommy, Daddy, I want something to eat. And there's nothing to eat because of that entitlement behavior. Because they thought that they're entitled to get up anytime, whenever they feel like, and just walk into the supermarkets, get whatever they want, and walk out back. All this thing is about to be changed, man. You're heading into a new world order. This thing is about to be changed. Right? Verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, Slakia, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Because when a man is hungry, he don't care if you're a world boss or if you're a world dog. They're just gonna do what they have to do. And it doesn't matter what system your government trying to put into place, people are just gonna lose it. Because that's the spirit that the Lord is gonna put into the earth at that given moment. Yeah? This is all prophecies, man. And we've been warning of these things for years upon years, saying to you people that, look, this will be the outcome of this society, because the Lord hate this planet, this current rulership of this planet, and he's about to remove those that are in power to put one that is fit to rule there, which is Yahushai and his giant ear, the elect, right? Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. We've been speaking of these things for years. Now it's taking shape right before your eyes. Men gonna do that because of the lack of bread. Not being satisfied because they are hungry. And there's a saying, a hungry man is a hungry man. Hey, the Lord set your asses up, man. And I'm speaking, I'm speaking about it, and from the other day, in the spirit, I'm happy, but I'm pressed to some level in the spirit, man, because I've never witnessed this thing before. I'm just praying for strength, for the Lord to basically to guide myself and the brothers, and also my family, my household, through what's about to come. I've never witnessed this thing before, but on another hand, like 80%, 90% more, I'm happy because, I was speaking of this thing over 12 years. And I'm also happy that the Lord is about to bring forth his kingdom. This is the prophecy of the Lord. And I have faith, I have faith that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai will deliver me, if it be that I continue in his word with all long suffering. Right? So back at second Ezra 15 again, verse 49 says, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence to waste thy houses with destruction and death. Do you see how much time the Lord keep on saying that he's going to do that? The Lord's going to humble everybody. You know, I can't forget the El Manatazak. El Manatazak, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. Years ago he said something. I was listening a lesson that he did, and the elder said, look, the Lord knows how to humble a nigger, and that have resided with me from then until now. You know, the Lord knows how to, and it's not just a nigger. The Lord knows how to humble everybody, because even the man with the highest IQ, the most proud, you got them devils, the Lord's gonna humble your asses as well. What you gonna do? You're gonna fight against the Lord? You're gonna die, man. Yeah? It says, and the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. The heat shall arise that is sent over thee. Thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to receive thee. Would I with jealousy have so proceed against thee, said the Lord? Right? See, and you know, I can continue to go on with many more scriptures, man, to show you that, look, Babylon is about to be burned. There's a famine coming. The world is going to be in crisis. But as for the elect, let me get, I think it's Job. Job, the 5th chapter, about this. Let me see what this says. Bear with me 1 second. It is a scripture. No. I think the scripture just jumped right out my head. It's in the book of Job, something like he says, in famine thou shalt laugh. Let me type it in. Job 5 verse 22, right? He says, as a matter of fact, Job 5 verse 19, he says, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 days shall no evil touch thee, right? Which is the missus. He says, in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword, because the Lord said, my servant shall eat, but you shall be hungry. And also he shall give his angels charge over us to keep thee, lest we dash our foot against the stones, man. You know, so we believe that. That's our lively hope. And if you have any other thing else hoping, then that's vain. Because your sword won't save you, your guns won't save you, the bullets won't save you. Certainly the money won't save you, because that bitch is going down. You know, this economy is going down. Right? Where was I? Verse 21. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. Right? So, you know, we're not going to be afraid of literal beasts, you know, because the Lord's going to put the spirit on us, and we're not going to be afraid of the image of the beast, you know. We're not going to be afraid of the system that they're pushing, because some of us are going to be martyrs for the Lord's sake. But nevertheless, we have gotten the victory over the beast already. As Yahushua said, fear not, little flock, it is my Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Well, we're just working for the kingdom, you know. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say to the spirit. With that, I want to say shalom. I hope that this lesson has been an edifying one.